You guys are looking at a Jake Hoback knives. Let's get right to this. Let's open this up. I got this knife a few days ago in the mail, and I was out on holiday and came home to this beautiful little knife. Well, not little, but you know. This is a Kwaiken, Jake Hoback knives. Kwaiken, something that a lot of people are familiar with. Very beautiful little knife. I'm really excited to actually finally get my hands on one of these. So basically, I would like to share a little bit about what my opinions are on this knife, and not a review by any means. Like I said many times, I simply just like to share what my first impression of this knife, of the knives, of the videos that I make, I guess. So here it is. As you can see, I'm trying to wipe off a lot of the smudges and fingerprints, etc., on this knife, because this knife is finished in DLC. I personally like it, but a lot of people don't like for that specific reason, because it's a lot of stains or smudges are quite visible, easily visible on DLC finished products. Okay, I know there are a lot of firearms are using DLC as well, but it is what it is, right? Now, upon receiving this knife, let me open this knife so you guys can see how the action is. As of right now, this knife is opening. The action is really good, but the first time I opened it, wasn't disappointed, and it's not the manufacturer's fault. But since I got this knife used, the previous owners find it hurts his finger, I think, something like that. And so basically, what he did was he lightened the action. You can do that with this knife by loosening the screw. As you can see, that screw right there, the silver one. So what that does is it basically adjusts the detent of this knife. So if you tighten it up, basically the detent actually protrudes further up into the detent hole of the blade. Okay, which results in a harder deployment. All right. Previously, when I opened it up, it was so soft, so light. That's what happened. You actually have to put a lot of strength on your flipping action to actually deploy it successfully, like that. So right now, it's a bit firm. It's a bit strong. Okay, which is what I like. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how it comes from the factory. The previous owner also break a little bit of the edges on this side, I think, because it's cutting into his finger, his thumb. So other than that, this knife is in mint condition. There's no visible wear that I can see of. All the imperfectness that you guys are looking at are basically just smudges and something that's easily wiped off. Now look at the machining mark on these two parts right there, and you can see how well Jake Hoback knives manufacturing this knife, how well they have done their job. And also look at the gap on the locking bar and the frame itself, and look at how small the gap are, and that's quite impressive in my opinion, especially with that thing that actually follows the pivot. It's quite impressive, quite good. And blade centering is actually perfect as well. Now if you'll notice this part, the bevels, that's the way it comes from the factory. All right. Now that's something that actually comes directly from Jake HOBACK. Now something that is also similar is browse blade. I previously owned a browse blade as well, and that knife have the same problem. If you want to consider that a problem, the edge, it's not symmetrical. Okay, this is quite visible, but it's not gonna undermine the performance of the knife by any means, but something for a lot of collectors or OCDs and stuff like that. That might be a problem for some people. Okay, now the pocket clip, it's not bad. It's, you know, I prefer a milled pocket clip. This one right here is stamp metal. At least it's stamp metal style. Okay, that logo right there is a nice touch. Reminds me of my Spartan blade folder. Have similar pocket clip style like that as well. This one actually carries ambidextrous, so right hand and left hand. All right. Now I would like to do a bit of comparison between this knife and, let's put this aside and let's compare it with this one. Okay. Now this one is on my previous video. This obviously is a fully custom knife. This one is Pohan Liu Hamachi. Okay. Now that knife right there is, do not somewhere in the manufacturing process have never, there's no computer aid involved in any of the manufacturing process. Okay. Now this one, as far as I know, it's a mid-tech, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm wrong a lot of the times. Okay, but as far as I know, this is a mid-tech now, which means somewhere along the process of manufacturing, it has been some parts have been sorted out by a different company, been manufactured by a CNC machining process, whether it's the blank of the scale or the blade itself, or it's done in-house by Jake HOBACK. I think that qualifies it as a mid-tech, which means it's not a fully custom knife. Okay. This knife, as you can see, the gap is quite small as well, which is really impressive considering this knife is totally handmade. The only machining process is probably just a manual milling machine. Quite impressive from Pohan Liu to do that. Action is extremely it's very nice opening action. Okay, very thick chunk of knife right there. And now this one, I prefer this opening action. Okay. Now there's one more knife that I like to compare this to with. It could be a blasphemy to some of you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. Here it is. Okay. Now this knife is made in China. It is not a custom knife. I don't even think this is a mid-tech. Okay. Now, the reason I'm comparing that knife with these two knives is because of how well this knife is made. Now, obviously, Riyadh is made in China, and these two are made in the U.S. Okay. Now, a lot of people talk crap about product that's made in China and how substandard they are, how crappy they are and stuff like that. But as most of you guys who knows Riyadh, they are exceptionally good quality, extremely good tolerance, close to perfectness in my opinion. Now, as you can see, the pocket clip looks really familiar because that's a tote bag design. The reason they are allowed to do that is because they are licensed to use that, because they are the one who manufacture tote bag knives, the Steelcraft series, I think. The not the custom knives version, but the regular ones. Which means they have their manufacturing process, their quality, Riyadh, extremely high. Really, really good knives making. Blade centering is perfect. Okay, check that out. The blade, the bevel on the edge is also really, really perfect. Well, there's no such thing as a perfect knife. Okay, let me rephrase that, but close to perfectness. All right. So with that alone, with that comparison alone, and then you have Mokutai red. Oh well, I think they're Damascus or Mokutai. I think they're Mokutai. Okay, and you have CDS 204P. Now the reason I'm comparing that spec with this one is because that one costs a lot less than this. No, I know this is made in the U.S. It's designed designed in the U.S., etc., etc. But you know, is it justified to actually have to pay that much more for this knife than for this knife? Now, if you want to talk about how well this knife was made, let's give a quick comparison with this Riyadh right here. Now look at the gap. This is obviously smaller. It's visibly smaller. But check this out, man. The gap on this frame lock, it's chamfered. How cool is that? Okay. Now this is not chamfered. This does not mean that this is inferior by any means. Not at all. Like I said, please do not, don't get me wrong. I love this knife. This is exceptionally well built knife as well. Very, very nice action knife. I'm just saying, is it really justified to actually a lot of people create a big rave about this knife and other knives simply because they are made in America. If you want to do that because you want to support something that's made in the US, that's fine. That's totally legitimate. I can understand that. But a lot of people actually start bashing out products that's made elsewhere, because specifically China, because they said it's crap and stuff like that. But that's not true. It depends on the manufacturer, I guess. All right. I don't know if what I said makes any sense, but I hope you get what I mean. So yeah. Do I love this knife? Oh yeah, man. Something that I've been wanting to get myself for quite a while. Just beware. I think the Chinese they're starting to make clones of this knife. I haven't got my hands. I haven't seen it. I don't know how it compares to the real thing, but just be careful. Let me give you guys a close-up of this knife. Such a tactical looking knife, man. Gorgeous. Alright. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to click the like and subscribe button. And God bless you guys. Bye-bye.